Hey, this is Red Pole Q here with Asian Dating Monthly, and I wanted to tell you what makes Korean girls so awesome. Um, I think that recently, especially, there's been a lot of interest in Korean girls with the Korean wave, and of course, Korean women or Korean people are the third largest group traveling to the U.S. for study abroad and probably other parts of the world too. So most of you, if you live in any major city, will have the opportunity to run into any number of Korean girls, and that's good for you because they're great. So let me tell you some of the reasons why specifically I think that makes them stand out. And there are people, of course, who who don't agree 100% with my assessment, but I think that for those who have spent a lot of time dating Korean girls, most of them would agree. So the first thing about Korean girls is that, when it comes to Asian girls, if we're talking Japanese, Chinese, and Korean girls, pretty much Korean girls are known to have the best overall bodies. Um, they are more shapely, or what the Koreans call, they have a S line. That's the word for instead of an hourglass figure like we say in the West, they say S line in Korea. So they're really known for having a really great S line. And I'd say that um, as compared to Japanese girls, and they definitely have longer legs. Uh, which is a key thing that makes them more attractive. Now, yes, it's true that there are some Chinese who have long legs, so that is true. But as a group, Korean girls tend to have pretty long legs. Another thing that makes Korean girls in general more appealing, especially to Western guys, is that while Japanese girls tend to be really small, overall, Koreans tend to be a little bit bigger, so they tend to have a little bit more meat. So that means that they have bigger asses and bigger tits than Japanese girls tend to have. So obviously, it can go a little bit overboard. So you do see more big girls in Korea than you do in Japan, for example, and probably more than you see in China as well. So it can go a little bit too far with the bigness. But I would say that when you hit that, the vast majority or a large percentage of them really fall into the sweet spot of you having just the right amount of curvaceousness without it being so much that it's hanging off them. Uh, Another thing that's really great is that for some reason, I don't know what it is about Korea, but when you're in Korea, even though it's not like it doesn't seem like a very sexual culture. I mean, it is, but it doesn't come off that way, up front. But somehow you just feel like it's very sexually charged. It's just a very sexually charged environment. Maybe it's because of the femininity of the women and the way they dress and the fact that they do a good job of showing off their best bits when they put their outfits together. But there's just something about Korea that when you are walking down the street in Gangnam or Itaewon, you just feel like the sexual tension there when you're interacting with women, and that contrasts a lot with some other places, especially China, where I think that it's less sexually charged. And so, for me, there's only a few cities where when I arrive, I feel, oh man, I really, really want to get some action. I really want to get out there and meet some girls. I really want to go out on dates. And, Seoul is one of those few places. Another thing that's really great about Korean women is that when you're in a relationship with one, and a good one, right? Because there are a lot of controlling ones But even those, there's a certain kind of sweetness to them where, they do little sweet, cute things for the guys they date. And, that's common for Asian girls, but, it's one of the things that Korean girls really bring to the table. When you're with them, they really want to treat you really nicely, and they really try and learn what you like and try to give that to you. So that's a really, and I don't mean what you like in terms of buying you things. I mean in terms of how they dress, in terms of how they behave. They will try to match to what you are offering. I mean, to what you want. They pay a lot of they pay a lot of attention to the guys they date. As I just said, and so they're always looking for ways to have an impact on you. They want the guys that they like to want to be with them, and they work pretty hard at doing that. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that while there are a lot of, let's say, complaints about Korean girls, because they're not perfect, but I'll save that for another post and another audio. But most guys really find that when you're talking about Asian girls, and I'm including Southeast Asian girls too, although some people would disagree with this. Some people prefer Chinese personalities, but a lot of guys really like Korean girls' personalities on a wide spectrum. Koreans are not known for their personalities in general, but that's largely because of the distance that they try and create. Korea is very much more so than other places, I think, much more so than other places, very much about image and first impressions. And so it can be a little bit more challenging than other places to break through that initial barrier where Koreans are sort of fronting and trying to show you what they want you to see rather than the real deal. But Koreans, in some ways, are more creative and wackier than Japanese. But they don't want it to be out in front where everybody can see it like the Japanese do. So guys that I know there who are English teachers, when they have assignments for essay assignments, some of these kids write the craziest stuff, really crazy stuff that you just wouldn't expect. And so, I think also that Koreans are more outward looking, in terms of looking at the rest of the world and looking at what the rest of the world is doing. They're really up on Western media and movies and TV shows, and they're very engaged. They travel, they study abroad a lot, as I already mentioned. And so because of that, they develop much more rich personalities than and nuanced personalities than a lot of other Asians. They really, I think, have a depth that goes beyond what most Japanese girls have, and I think because of their life experience, than most Chinese girls have too. So Korean girls, they're really well educated. They study a lot, and yes, on the plus side, on the minus side, it means that they spend a lot of time in school, and it means that they're busy studying, and that's for real. And they don't put guys and dating in front of studying. But on the other hand, they, educated women, that's a good thing. It means that you can, for Western guys, it means you can relate to them on a level that you can't maybe relate to a lot of other women out there. And it means, once again, that they have a wider, more informed perspective and more nuanced opinions about life and the world. And so, that's why I think guys really like spending time with them so much. Especially if you're a guy who likes to go party, who likes to go and drink, because that's a big part of Korean culture. You know, they have a very stressful life during the week of studying and working, or working really long hours. And so that's their one chance to really cut back and have fun. And so I would say that in that regard, Koreans can be a lot more fun than other than girls from other countries. They definitely party harder than any place else in Asia, and you know, you can see it if you go out in Seoul, and even if you go out in places in Koreatown in LA or in New York, you can see that they really party hard, because they really follow the philosophy of work hard, play hard. So those are some of the reasons I think that Korean women are really awesome. You know, and it's funny because I was just in Vietnam a couple of or 2 days ago, and I remember every now and then I would see some Korean girls, and I go, oh man, there's some Korean girls, you know, like there's because of my positive experiences with them, you know, I get a certain level of excitement when I know that, you know, when I see Korean girls out and about somewhere, because I know that there's lots of good stuff there. One final note that I want to say is that Korean girls have really good skin. You know, I think compared to Westerners, Asians tend to have good skin, but you know, Koreans that tends to be one of their ways of really looking attractive. You know, Japanese girls tend to put on a lot of makeup, and that's how they sort of make their skin look good. Chinese girls, you know, probably largely because of the environment and the bad, the bad air and everything that has a negative effect. But you know, Korean girls have some of the best skin in among the Asians. So when you look at their faces, they have like this very pure, natural look that when it works really really well. Now, on the other hand, when it doesn't work, it can be a total train wreck. But when it works really really well. And you know, I know a lot of guys, or a lot of people, they think that it's all plastic surgery. And yes, it's true, plastic surgery is very common, but it's not as common, not quite as common as you think. I mean, there are plenty of girls out there, very pure, natural Korean faces that have not had any plastic surgery, or if they have, it's so minor that you wouldn't even really consider it to have changed anything. So that's just a short couple of words about some of the reasons why it's really awesome to date Korean girls. And in some of the other articles on this site and in some of the other audios, I will talk in more detail about how to date Korean girls, or how to date Korean girls, or where to meet them, and all those sorts of things. So thanks a lot for listening, and talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.